Hi everybody, this is Anna and I'm here for you to present Live With, broadcasted by Adiga TVShow. Are you ready for the show? And do you remember last time? I present two girls that went last week to Kilimanjaro to play their game. Well, I want really to wish them a good luck and Jasmine, Hanin. Yes, today I have a huge challenge. I am going to present an opera singer from Moscow, Nafset, and of course, this is my challenge. Hi everyone, I'm here with Nafset and I want to ask you, how are you? Like, first of all, apologizing with our audience for the little bit delay that we have. How are you? And thank you very much to be here with us.
Oh, thank you for your invitation. Good evening, I'm great and I'm very glad to greet you here from Moscow.
Yeah, thank you very much to you. And may I ask you some questions, like, for example, about your background and your childhood and, of course, your studies and your university. So tell us something about you.
Okay, my curriculum vitae, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was born in Republic of Adiga. I am Jado and speak on Jado dialect. My father was from the Alakshukai Aul, which was flooded during the construction of Presendar water reservoir, and instead of those auls which were flooded, was built a very small town, Adigisk. Actually, maybe you know, there are only two cities in the Republic of Adiga. Maikop is the capital, and the second one is Adigisk. So
Okay.
I was born in Adigisk. Actually, it's very tiny. It's almost like a village, you know. But we have very good attitudes with our neighbors, and even now, many years passed over. But you know, when I go to southern Russia, I always visit my native town to meet my neighbors. Though I have no relatives there in Adigisk almost. Well, my passion to sing, I think it was inherited from my mother, as she has had very beautiful voice,
Okay.
very deep and nice timbre. And also, I've had an elder sister. She was 3 years. She was 3 years elder than me. But now I will tell you about my studies experience. As I've had the congenital visual pathology, I was forced to attend a boarding school.
Okay.
You understand? I think it's a school where people study and live. Actually, you know, it was a great problem because at those time, we here in Russia, we even had no idea about inclusive integral education. So my mother was forced to give me to school, though it was, I think, more difficult even for her than for me, though I was the youngest in my class. But you know, I was like a let's say, homegrown flour, and I got used very slowly to a boarding school. But as for my mother, she wasn't even allowed to come up to me when she went to visit me to the
Okay.
school. I am because she was told, well, she's just beginning to get used, and you can just observe her only from the distance.
Yeah.
So, however, I studied there, and every child was provided with musical education as well.
Okay, yes.
So all of us, we started to study music. Actually, not all of us came to the end, though. Well, and I began my musical studies as a pianist.
Okay.
Actually, I attended the different ensembles and chorus classes as well. And I started to take vocal lessons at the age of, I think, 12 years old.
So
And
very young.
Like, yeah, it was like a supplementary discipline.
Okay.
But then I started to participate in different competitions and festivals as a singer. And the most impressive projects were in 2001, 2002, and 2003. Those were the projects of World of Art Foundation. First one was in Moscow, and we sang with great world-renowned opera singer Montserrat Caballé. So, of course, I was impressed because it was my first experience listening to lead music. Well, and it's my first visit to Moscow. I was just try to imagine a little girl from a tiny town. I would say from the middle of nowhere.
Of course.
Yeah, and this girl in Moscow lives in grand hotel. Participates in huge projects. So it was something very crazy for me. And at the time, I thought that I wanna, let's say, higher standards of my life, and I just wanted to do something to live in this not luxury, but let's say
Huge
quite
town.
good, quite good level of the
course.
life. Yes. Then there was a project in St. Petersburg. We performed a requiem by Mozart, conducted by Yuri Temirkanov. I'm sure you know of him. He's the greatest circassian. As for me, he's the greatest one.
Okay.
Greatest one, and I think that our nationality should be proud of him. And then we went to Vatican and performed before John Paul II. And it was my first trip abroad, and I fell in love with Italy.
Really? Did you ever sing in Italy? So this is a personal question, of course, because I'm Italian, so I'm curious. I know.
Oh, wonderful! Sono molto contenta.
Oh, grazie.
Yeah. And the third one is 2004 or 3. Was let's say the turning moment in my life. It was travel to London, and I have visited the Opera Theatre for the first time. But it was Covent Garden. Don't you think it's a good debut?
Of
I
course.
mean, a very good start. So I just it was a great impression for me.
Hmm.
They performed opera Simela by Handel, and this opera is one of my favorites even now. So I was so happy to.
To
Um,
sing that opera in front.
no, just at least to listen. I
Of
just
course.
listened live opera for the first time, but it was a good start, I
And
think.
let me ask you
Yeah.
about the languages. I know that being a soprano implies that you have to sing in different languages. So, how many languages do you know, and what are the main challenges you have faced in order to learn all these languages and to sing in different languages?
Okay. Well, languages is my second passion.
Okay.
I would be happy to receive a second education as an interpreter, linguist. Actually, I really faced some problems studying languages. I speak Russian,
Mm-hmm.
Circassian, English, and Italian. Now, I try to learn German. Actually,
Oh,
I will never speak it. I understand that.
it's really hard. I know.
But I sing French, Spanish, Czech, Latin.
Mm-hmm. And
It's
what's
not a
your
problem
favorite?
to sing.
What's
To
your
sing.
favorite language? And of course, accordingly to that, what's your favorite like opera that you love to sing?
Well, my favorite languages are English and Italian. So
Okay.
I learned them. I learned them, yeah. But it's quite tricky for me. It's a whole story, but I'll try to be short.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had no English at our boarding school. And our school director, well, he considered us as, he said to our parents, well, your children are not going to be interpreter or travel somewhere, so they don't need English, something like that. Actually, I didn't think at that time that English is the most important language
Of
in a
course.
contemporary world. I just liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided, oh, well, you don't provide me with such an opportunity to learn language. I will deal with this issue
Great.
by myself. So I had to order the Braille English exercise books by myself
Mm-hmm.
from Moscow State Library. Actually, it took some time to get them. Then I had to turn them back, to send them back. But however, I'm very happy that I started it. I understand that my English is not good, that I have no systematic knowledge, that it's, like very scattered knowledge. But, um,
Of course.
you know, um, however, I'm able to communicate with the representatives of other cultures, other foreigners, because
Mm-hmm.
English is, I don't know, it's an international language.
Of
As
course.
Italian, one day we received, how to say, self-tutorial Italian book,
Oh
and
my
I was
God,
so
that's
happy.
great.
Yeah,
That's great. So you started from there.
yeah. Of course, my Italian vocabulary is quite poor. It's poorer than English one, but I have no practice of it.
Of course. And well,
Yeah.
just like chatting before, you said that you have a dream. Can you say to us this dream and explain us about?
I understand what you mean.
Of course.
You mean about my crazy idea. When I was
Of
11
course, that
or
one.
12 years old, a very crazy idea came to my head. I thought to create Circassian Braille alphabet, though I'm not familiar with a Circassian grammar. But then I thought, well, nobody needs it. What a crazy idea I have in my mind. But now, when I have to deal with Circassian repertoire, well, I have to write down the songs of the words somehow. So I create my own Circassian Braille alphabet. Because, of course, I use the Cyrillic alphabet, but when there are some missing symbols, I create some supplementary symbols and cope with this problem. Well, as for my dreams, I wouldn't say I dream. I just try to do as much as I can.
Of course.
Our world is, very, let's say, result-oriented. But I think it's better to learn to enjoy, to get a pleasure from the process. It's a big deal, but I want to learn it. But I really have a dream. I want to make a record of Circassian ancient music. Well, I can't sing as a folk singer, but I understand that Circassian folk music could be arranged very well for classical soprano. I understand that a lot of work has to be done. Well, songs should be selected. They should be arranged for voice, for soprano voice,
but that's your dream,
or maybe small band, or maybe for piano, and then recorded. So we will have to find the orchestra, the composer.
Of course, many things to do. But
well, financial investments and maybe manager who will take all this organizational obligations.
That's true.
Hopefully, someday we could
realize this dream.
Yeah, realize this dream. Yeah.
And talking about the Circassian music, now we have our Circassian moment with Ahmad Ai. Then he will delight us with his Circassian music. So enjoy it.
Thank you.
don't go away. We are coming back in a few minutes, and now the break.
Because I can. I believe.
Hi again, Nafset. We have two questions from the audience, and they would like to ask you, first of all, if it was difficult for you, from the village to go to Moscow and the integration in a new culture since you were a child. And the second one was about Braille and the music, so the connection between the two things.
Braille?
Yes.
Okay. First one is that the boarding school was not in Moscow. It was in Armavir. It was in 2,050 kilometers from native town. However, I went back home only 3-4 times a year. Yes, it was quite difficult for me to adapt to self-standing life. After the boarding school, I attended Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov Krasnodar Musical College, and it was close to my home, so I was able to see my relatives quite frequently. But then I decided to pursue my education in Moscow and choose Viktor Popov Academy of Choral Arts. And it's one of the best universities, I think. And I got a lot of friends, and they supported me a lot, and I keep in touch with them till now. So I wouldn't say that now I have some problems to be integrated in some society. I have a big interest to different cities, countries.
Of course.
I have a passion to travel. I like to reveal new cultures, to get to know new people, and to open for myself a whole new world. So it's curious for me. It's interesting for me. I wouldn't say it's difficult. In my childhood, it was difficult, but now it's
Okay.
interesting. Now I'm going to pursue my education in New York, thanks to sponsorship of Murat Khapsirokov, and I'm everything thank to him. Thanks to him, I'm able to study at one of the most prestigious universities, not
Okay.
in the United States, but in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Murat Nazirovich. He's the senator of Republic of Adiga in Council of Federation. And he's the great person, supports a lot of educational programs,
Okay.
and he's just a great person, education person. Yeah. The second one concerning concerning Braille.
Yes.
Yes, Braille is a big issue in Russia. In my studies, in my musical studies, I used the Braille scores,
Okay.
but the most of it is made by myself. My friends dictate it to me, and I write them down by hand. We almost have no Braille vocal literature. And
Yeah.
I'm forced to order it abroad in Germany and in United States. But it's the problem. It's not only the problem of the Braille scores. It's a problem of the Braille literature. You know, there are
It
very
was
few
like,
literature in Braille printed here in Russia.
of course.
But as soon as there is the electronic version of the book, it is available for me now, thanks to informational computer technology.
Of course. So, on one hand, it was like a challenge for you, but on the other hand, you deal with it like properly and perfectly. So, yeah.
Well, I try to do my best. Actually, you know, after my travel to United States, I wrote something like plan to to adopt the American and European experience, like to open the special departments where the blind people could order
Of
the
course.
Braille literature or scores. But you know, for private business, it's unclear. They cannot make their investments as they don't know what results are expectable. As for our state, I don't know. I think they don't need it at all.
Yes.
Well, so we
So,
have to deal with these issues ourselves.
of course. And thank you very much for this interview. It was really a pleasure for me to be here with you, and thank you, of course, to the circation here. So we are really, really, really happy to be with you, and please don't forget to follow us on Snapchat, on Instagram, and also Facebook. And bye, and see you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank you.
nice evening.
You too. Thank you.
Ciao.